I'll never forget my time at the boarding school in Kisii. It wasn't the exams or the strict teachers that stayed with me, but the memory of Form to West, the dormitory at the edge of the school compound. No one ever went in there. It was always locked, its windows dusty and dark, even during the brightest afternoons. But at night, that's when the stories would start. Boys in the neighboring dorms would swear they heard things coming from inside, the shuffle of footsteps on the cold cement floor, the faint creak of rusty bed springs, and whispers, like a secret being passed from bunk to bunk. The teachers told us it was just the wind, or rats, but we knew better. That dormitory wasn't empty. One evening I got on the wrong side of Mr. Amandi, our history teacher. My punishment wasn't the usual caning or manual labor. He unlocked the heavy padlock on the door of Form to West and ordered me to spend the night inside. "Maybe a little quiet time will help you reflect on your indiscipline," he said, his voice echoing in the vast empty space. He handed me a thin mattress and a blanket, then locked the door behind me, leaving me in total darkness. The air inside was stale and thick with the smell of dust and something else, something like old smoke. I found an empty bed frame near the door and tried to get comfortable, telling myself it was just one night. For the first few hours, there was only silence. But just as I started to drift off, the air turned cold. A deep, chilling cold that had nothing to do with the night outside. I held my breath, listening, and then I heard it. A slow, raspy breath, right next to my ear. It wasn't mine. I froze, my heart hammering against my ribs. A bed across the room groaned, as if someone had just sat down on it. Then another. A locker door creaked open slowly, followed by another, and another. My mind was racing, trying to find a logical explanation, but there was none. Then the whispers began. They were faint at first, like the rustling of dry leaves, but they grew clearer, weaving through the darkness. They were calling out names, students' names. Some I recognized from school, others I had never heard before. The whispers grew louder, more urgent, swirling around me. Then, a single, clear voice whispered my name. David. It was so close, it felt like someone was speaking directly into my soul. I squeezed my eyes shut, pulling the thin blanket over my head, praying for morning to come. My watch beeped, signaling 3 a.m. Against my better judgment, I peeked out from under the blanket. What I saw will haunt me for the rest of my life. The dormitory was no longer empty. On every single bed a shadowy figure was sitting up, their forms dark against the faint moonlight filtering through the grimy windows. They were all turned towards me, motionless. They had no faces, just dark, empty voids where their eyes should have been. Yet I could feel them staring, their gaze pressing down on me with an immense weight of sorrow and silence. I couldn't scream. My throat was paralyzed with fear. I just lay there, trapped by their collective stare, until the sun began to rise. The next thing I remember is the sound of the padlock being undone. Mr. Amandi found me huddled by the door, my eyes wide, unable to form a single word. They took me to the school nurse, but I remained silent for 3 days. It was an older groundskeeper who finally told me the truth, in a hushed, fearful voice. Years ago, long before any of us were students there, a fire had broken out in that very dormitory. It happened in the middle of the night. None of the boys made it out. The school covered it up, quietly repaired the building, and locked it away, hoping everyone would forget. But they didn't leave. They never left. Form to West was never abandoned. It was just permanently occupied. And for one night, I was their guest.